Sharanam, Deivathin Kural, Book 6, Soundaryalahari or Bhakti Kavite, a sacred devotional poetry. One point that should be noted is that even in the earlier part of Soundaryalahari, which is mainly Mantra Shastra portion, there are stotras which are steeped in devotion as well as being very valuable as a piece of classic literature. At the highest pinnacle of devotion, to completely surrender and remain with no will of one's own, is described in the 27th poem, starting with the words Japo Jalpa. Even earlier in the 22nd poem, starting with the words Bhavani Tvam, using that very phrase, first there is expression of duality with the devotee as the subject and Bhavani as the object. Then the second meaning is derived out of the same two words, Bhavani and Tvam, simply by putting those two words together as Bhavanitvam, so that the devotee becomes her, the ultimate state in Advaitam. The Soundaryalahari, a 100-verse hymn, is made up of two sets of verses. The Anandalahari, which is 41 verses, were composed by Lord Shiva, and the next set of 59 poems, that is from 42 to 100, which came to be called Soundaryalahari, were composed by our Acharya, Sri Adi Shankara. The Soundaryalahari portion is pure devotion in classical poetic literature. If one were to carefully search these 59, one or two subtle points of Shastras may be noticed, such as Gataste Manchatvam in the 92nd poem, and again in the 97th, in which the principle of Turiya is mentioned. Otherwise, the 59 verses portion composed by our Acharya is out and out superlative poetry. So the whole of Soundaryalahari, as the name indicates, is an ocean of beauty in devotional poetry, conveying a greater emphasis on poetry rather than abstruse shastras. There are some who have written bhashyam for it to convey the idea that even in the latter part that there are hidden secrets of shastras. But I would rather look at it as mainly devotional poetry. Further, it occurs to me, and I do not know if I should say this, but anyhow I am saying that I wish that at Kailasa itself, Nandikeshwara should have taken away all the 100 poems, and our Acharya could have done more justice to the description of Ambaal's beauty. There are enough shastras for talking about mantras and yantras. Why bother to bring them into poetical form? In the Soundaryalahari, our Acharya has displayed endearing qualities of poetic skillfulness and expertise to a great degree to attract people's minds and soak them in devotion. So this stotra stands high as devotional literature. Parameshwara, as the all-knowing Sarvagnya that he is, even at the time of composing the original version, has assumed himself to be a devotee of Ambaal and written it full of devotion and poetical nuances to match the latter part that would be written by his avatara one day, so that the whole will seem to be by the same composer in the same style as though. I must mention one more thing. Though I am saying that the latter portion is pure devotional poetry, those 59 poems are also powerful as mantras. In the whole of Soundaryalahari, each shloka can be chanted as mantra japa, and they benefit the person chanting in so many different ways. Since they are the words of Parameshwara or Acharya and contain abundance of Ambaal's grace in them, even without the presence of Shastras or Bijaksharas, they are as good as mantras. Midas's touch was supposed to convert anything into gold. Like that, Acharya's every word is mantra only. The water from the well in our house has to be sanctified by chanting mantras, but the water in the Ganges river is by itself sanctified, whatever we plan to use it for, such as for anointing Vishwanatha at Kashi, or for us to bathe, or for irrigating the fields, isn't it? Similarly, though the subject matter may not seemingly be about mantra, but describes Ambaal's beauty, Acharya's words have the power of mantras. If all his writings are so, Soundaryalahari and Subramanya Bhujangam are especially so, powerful as mantras. Since the original Soundaryalahari as received from Lord Shiva was completely Mantra Shastra and Acharya had added the missing portion of 59 verses, the shlokas have automatically gained the power of mantras in the Soundaryalahari. In the case of Subramanya Bhujangam, the context is different. There was an occasion when our Acharya fell ill. He assumed that the reason for his falling ill was so that he may write a suitable stotram which could be chanted by anyone falling ill and thus be useful. So he composed Subramanya Bhujangam, which is a powerful therapy for all kinds of diseases. Soundaryalahari, on the other hand, is useful not only for amelioration of illnesses but also benefits in many other ways. Periva Sharanam.